All right, so we're working on a 24-page book for our interiors that would also have another 4 pages for our covers for our exercise 3, and it's a Mozart booklet. Right now I'm going to talk about printing, and for now I'm just going to put the words cover on the cover because I don't have it designed yet. And for the inside front cover, the cool thing about the inside front cover is you can spread this information out across these 2 pages if you'd like. So we don't have to stick with only having this information on the right hand page. We can design this whole spread as if it's one big giant canvas. So you guys have fun on that spread. We'll also maybe go down the bottom. I still have some formatting to do, so I don't have all of my pages done, but I am going to go ahead and put in here back cover, and we would of course have a design on that. And in addition, I'm going to put inside back cover on this page 25. Is that right? So we have page A, which is the cover, page B, which is the inside front cover. Then we start page 1 actually on the 3rd page, just so it'll number properly. So I'm going to save that. And again, mine's still work in progress. My stuff is way out of line here, but we get the idea. What I'm going to do is walk us through first a thing called a character style. Let me find some text that might have something in here that is different than the others. Now right now I do have my invisibles turned on. If those are a bother, I can always go to type and hide my hidden characters. Sometimes I like those on, sometimes I want them off. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about character styles first. In this particular paragraph, it's in a sidebar, but I do have 2 different paragraph formattings or text formattings in the same paragraph. I do have an italics here. And you'll notice when I bring up my paragraph styles, there will typically be a plus sign in that style, assuming I have applied a style. There it is. There is a plus sign next to that. I don't know if you can tell, but it says sidebar text with a plus sign. Now, if I go to another one, there is no plus sign. What that plus sign indicates is it indicates there is some formatting within the paragraph that's outside of the formatting in the paragraph style. And in this case, we have an italics. So what I can do, if I'm going to use italics over and over again in this particular sidebar text, I'm going to highlight the italics text. And I'm going to use what is called a character style. So I click on my character styles. If you don't see them, you can go to Window, Styles, and choose Character Styles. I will create a new character style, and I will call this, I should call it something similar. I'll call it Sidebar Italics Text. I'm going to hit OK. And then make sure that that text has the character style applied to it. Make sure it's not none. Now what I'm going to do, character styles have very few details. If I edit it, it has very few details available because there is no paragraph formatting here. It's only about the actual characters. So you won't see indents and spacing, you won't see justification, you won't see hyphenation. You'll see only a few things like basic character formats, advanced character formats, which would be your baseline shift, or if you're going to squish it horizontally, you put it in there, character color, and a few other things. But this one has very limited stuff because it's about character formatting, not necessarily paragraph. I tend to wait to teach these so that people get used to using paragraph styles first, because if students use character styles for their entire paragraph formatting, they get themselves in a world of hurt because they can't change anything like spacing or indents or even bullet points. You can't do anything. So I tend to teach these a little later once you guys get used to using your paragraph styles. Now, what I'm going to do is I definitely want this guy to be a sidebar italics text, and I'm going to find any other things here, like this name of this song, and make it a sidebar italics text. And I'm going to find the minuet and trio and tell it the same. Now, the cool thing about this is if I decide to change my paragraph style later, I will have to change the character style as well, but it's a really quick fix. I'm going to the other section of the sidebar, and I'm going to fix these as well and tell them that they are, assign them the character style of sidebar italics text. Now, you won't see any change here because it is the actual font and point size and leading that we originally created it with. But if I need to edit this and change it later, it's easy to do because I have a character style. Now, I'm going to save the document. Same thing can be said if I were to zoom into one of my regular paragraphs here. I see that there is, let me go to my paragraph styles. If I put my cursor here, I don't see any italics, and it says body copy, but there's no plus sign. But as soon as I float my cursor or click and drag over this area, you'll see that there's an italics requiem, and I have a plus sign. So requiem, I would need to create a body copy italics character style. So I'm going to click on one of the italics in the body copy, click on new style, double click on that character style 1, rename it body copy italics, hit OK, and make sure requiem has that body copy italics applied. Now I would then have to go through my entire document and look for anything that's italics and assign an italics character style to it in my body copy. So I'm searching, searching for those. Here's one in here. So I am going to make it my body copy italics, and I would go through the entire document and do this. It takes a little time, but it's time definitely well worth it. If you have to edit this, it would take just a quick split second. If somebody decided to say, hey, you know what, your italics needs to be a certain color, or you need to change the font on it, or maybe they didn't want it italics, after all, you can quickly fix that. So we want to go through the whole document and clean up the assignment of any italics as body copy. Now there may be other places too that need character styles. Let me see if there are. Oh, like 1755, that would be a paragraph style. It's on its own paragraph. Let's see if there's anything else in here that seems like it would need a character style. So far it looks pretty good. Oh, I have an idea. Let's say, for instance, in the this is in the listener's guide section, which I don't have it sectioned off yet. Let's say in the Marriage of Figaro, we have a number 1. Maybe you wanted that number 1 to be a different font, a different color. We would create a character style after that. So let's say I create a new character style. I'm going to call this Listener's Guide Numbers. Then I can go into these basic character formatting and I can make it a different font. Let's say I'm going to do a Helvetica Neue. And maybe it is a super heavy one. And maybe the color is blue instead of red, dark blue. Now what I can do is I can go to each one of these songs, highlight just the number, and tell it that it's the listener's guide number. And if I decide to change that, oops, I just found a typo. There's a period there. I get that extra credit point. On number 4, there was a period. I got rid of that. That's my extra credit. Oops. And I'm applying a paragraph or a character style, because anytime you can see that, if you can sing the song one of these things is not like the other, I don't know if you've ever heard that on Sesame Street, within a paragraph, if one of these things is not like the other, it needs to be a character style, not a paragraph style. And then you apply that character style. Oops. It is a click and drag kind of thing sometimes on this, or a double click, but it takes a little work, but it's worth it if you want something to be sticking out a little differently. Okay, so let's assume I've got some things cleaned up. Now, let's talk about these sections. I'm going to go to my Pages panel, and I'm going to pull down the line that's beneath the master pages so I can see how many master pages I have. I only have 2 sets of master pages. I have an A for biography and a B for life and times. I haven't really applied this paragraph style, I don't think, to anything yet. I would have to look at my pages to figure out where life and times starts. Oh, wait, there it is. It's right there. Let's see if I have any problems with life and times being in front of something. Okay, I got that one cleaned up. Let's say I want a big background on here. Big yellowish color background. Let me give it a color real quick. Now, mine is doing something that yours probably isn't doing. Mine is actually in the back of stuff. So if you do a big color background, it will cover up life and times. Now, I'm going to show you what I mean real quick. Yours would probably look like this. It would cover up your page numbers. It would cover up the whole little tabs, the little section headers, whatever. So here's how we solve this problem. If you go to the master pages, and you want to do this on each master page that you have, you want to select all of the elements on the master page. And then you'll go to the layers panel. Throw this layer away. Oops. Make it more like yours here. Well, you shouldn't have any content on the master pages. Yeah, we're doing this on the master pages. Yeah, if you put content on the master page, it ends up on every page. And you're like, why do I have the same paragraph on every single page? So this is on the actual master page. I double click on it. I do select all, which is Command A on a Mac, Control A on a PC. I go to my layers panel and I create a new layer using the new layer button, which is the little page symbol down by the little trash can. And it says it's layer 2. Now in the layers panel in InDesign, you'll see that if everything's selected here, which it is, you'll see that just to the right of layer 1, there is a little blue box. It indicates that selected items are on that layer. If you just simply drag this little color box to the next layer up, you'll see that it turns red because layer 2 is red. And now it's on layer 2. So you don't have to copy and paste or anything like that. You just select all the stuff and then grab the little icon and move it to a different layer. Now you definitely want layer 2. If you wanted to, you could name it master page items if you want. Master page items. And click OK. That way you know that that layer is about that. Now we probably want to do the same thing with other layers too. Oops, I must have gotten rid of something here. Hold on, I deleted something on my layers. There we go. You want to do the same thing on the A master. You want to grab everything, select all, go to your layers panel, and it should be on layer 1 originally. You want to drag that up to layer 2, which I'm sorry, but I have to rename this. I hit Command Z. And all those items are there. Just going to double check everything. There we go. So when you go to another page of the actual document, you will see that your master page items are in the front instead of behind objects. Now again, if you were like, oh, I don't want those there, you just want to delete them, hold down Shift and Command, click on the item, and then delete it. You may have to do it a few different times, but that releases it from the master page and deletes it. I'm hitting Command Z because I actually do want those. So at minimum, we should have 2 layers. One with our master page items, and one which is for the other material. Now you could have more layers if you wanted, but this is the bare minimum that you would need in order to get your master page items to go in front of things. Now we can see on this design here with this sidebar, this page number really looks weird there. So I'm going to hold down Shift and Command and click on that page number to release it, then delete it. So sometimes you don't want page numbers in areas and other times you do. Okay, so we just covered character styles and how to get your page numbers and your master page items above everything else. Because when you start drawing things, they'll automatically hide your page numbers and your master page items. I have a question for you guys. Can you easily tell where one paragraph ends and the next begins on my layouts? Maybe, we don't know yet. Let's see. If you're not sure, I'm going to hit the W key so I can see my grid. Go to Type and Show Hidden Characters and look for little backwards P's. And if you're seeing that you don't have much separation, I'm looking for any backward P here. Those are all single paragraphs. Just seeing, well, these are set names of songs, so that one's easy. Here we go. This, it looks like I do put a little bit of space between one paragraph and the next paragraph. So in this case, this is how I've managed my paragraph separations. You don't have to put space between your paragraphs. You could do a little bit of an indent. You could do a little character if you wanted. That's entirely up to you, but there should definitely be difference between one paragraph and the next. So if you show your hidden characters, you can kind of tell. All right, let's walk you through the printing process now. You're not ready probably to print. Maybe some of you are, I'm not sure. But this is a very special printing process for a booklet. Now, you can go ahead and print the covers on this if you want. It will kind of help keep things in order. So I'm going to go to File, and instead of Print, we don't use that when we're printing a booklet. We go to Print Booklet. Now, we do have to have a page count that is divisible by 4. So I have like a total of 28 pages, and so that's good, because that's divisible by 4. Now, I'm going to click on the preview. We know we already have some bleeds and stuff, so everything should be good because I did set this up originally with bleeds, and so should you have. So I don't really need to change much of anything here. I'm going to click on the preview, and you can see we have a problem. We see that there is some pink, which means that this 2 pages, the way it's currently laid out, does not fit on the paper very well. So I need to go back to Setup. Oops, nope, different place, excuse me. I'm going to go to Print Settings here. Sorry, it was not Setup. I'm going to go to Print Settings. And here in Setup in this window, I want to do Landscape, not Portrait. We are going to print to letter. We strategically made this book a certain size so we wouldn't have to print to tabloid. Also in this, we want the page position to be centered. Otherwise, they won't print front to back to each other aligned. They'll print completely off of each other if you don't center it. You want crop marks on? I also recommend registration marks. That shows you where your center is. And for me, I'm going to tell it to print blank pages because I still have a few blank pages. I'm not completely done with my layout, so I'm clicking on print blank pages. If you have any blank pages in your document, say if you left your inside front cover blank, you want to make sure you select print blank pages. Otherwise, it won't put the pages in the right order and it'll just be maddening for you. So I'm keeping blank pages on. Now I am looking to make sure I have the right printer and the right paper here. I do. And I want to print in black and white. If you want to print in color, that's fine, but I'm going to print in black and white because it's cheaper. So I'm going to go to Printer, hit OK. And here where it says Layout, I'm going to click on that drop-down menu, go to Xerox Features, and by default it will be on color. You want to turn it to black and white. Now, there is a thing called flipping on the short edge and flipping on the long edge. And I am going to look at this and I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to leave it at two-sided printing. We'll see if it prints upside down on the other side. If it prints upside down on the other side, then I should have chosen the other option here. We should be okay because the long edge, it should flip on that edge, but you know, it oftentimes escapes me as to how that works. So I may print backwards on the other side. We'll find out. Then we'll know to fix it. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hit OK again. And here in the preview, I can see that the cover goes next to page 26, which is technically the 28th page. The inside front cover, which is for me is, well, hold on just a second. Oh, that's the inside back cover. Goes with that, and so on. So you can see that you got 17 next to page 8. This makes no sense visually. You're like, my gosh, this is weird. It looks like pages 12 and 13 are the prime real estate, meaning you'll see little staples there, but it's one continuous piece of paper. It goes seamless. That's the center of the book. There we go. I was clicking a little too crazy there. So here's my inside front cover, and there's my inside back cover. 24 goes next to page 1, page 2 goes next to 23, and so on. Now I'm going to hit print, and I'm going to see if it's going to print backwards on the other side, and if so, I need to flip it on the short edge. But hopefully it's flipping all along that long edge. Now this should be two-sided printing, so it's printing 14 times, but it's only going to print on 7 pieces of paper. And we do have just plain old 8.5 by 11 paper loaded in the printer. You don't need anything too fancy pants on this. If you wanted to do something a little nicer, that's fine. I wouldn't do anything too heavy. Because we're going to fold it, and 7 pieces of paper folded can get a little bulky. And as it's coming out of the printer, you don't want to pull pages and look at them until it's all the way done printed because you don't want to get anything out of order because it can get confusing really quickly. All right, so it printed backwards on one side. Oops. Glad I did it on my dime, not yours. So when you guys are going to file print booklet, in the print settings here, where is the printer button, you hit OK there, and then you click on Layout, Xerox Features. Here where it says two-sided printing, you're going to have to tell it to flip on the short edge because otherwise it will print one side right reading and the other side upside down. Oops. Good thing we all didn't print. That would have been a lot of paper waste. I'm going to hit Print. OK. Print. And this one will print out correctly. Now, of course, it would look much more interesting in color. If you'd like, what I like to see for critique is I would love for you guys to print in thumbnail view so we can see the color layouts. So that won't be nearly as expensive because it's just, they're small, like little, you know, like little, well, back in the old days we used to do little contact sheets for print, for photo. So I'm going to print one in color so that at least I can have something to show for critique for color. In this case, I would click on Setup. I would go to Thumbnails. Make sure Spreads are select on. This one is not File Print Booklet, by the way. This would just be the general print. So we click on Spreads. We go to Setup. Do your thumbnails. Let's see, Spreads, yes. Let's get the portrait landscape. Let's do a 2x2. That seems odd. Maybe a 3x3. Oh, that's too small. 2x2. I'm going to print blank pages because I don't have, because I do have maybe a couple blank pages. I'll do 2x2 portrait. We'll see how that goes. Then I don't have to worry about marks and bleeds. I will go to the printer and turn it to color because I do want to see my color. And I'm okay with two-sided printing on this too. I'm going to print it. I'm going to hit print again. See how many pages this comes out. We'll see if a 2x2 is too big or can we go smaller. I may want to go smaller because I did 4 color pages and that, you know, I want to try to get it down to fewer pages. So you can probably go smaller and we'd still be able to detect color pretty easily, figure out what's going on there. And if you wanted to, you could make it a little magazine for your niece's Barbie dolls or something, or your nephew's G.I. Joes or Barbies or whatever they play with. I know American Girl would be cool to have, if you guys have nieces or nephews that have American Girls, you know, little books for them. It's kind of cute. So if you didn't want to waste this, you could maybe use it for something fun. Yeah, the 2x2 is pretty good. It's definitely doable. Not too big, not too small. Just about right. All right, I'm going to stop the recording because we're done with the printing part of it. And